Here we are in Chapter 1 and 2 Summary Review Exercises, numbers 39 through 46. Change into a fraction and simplify. So we're going to change this guy into a fraction. This is 3, and that is in the tenths column, so that is 3/10. Can that be simplified? Looks like we're as good as we can go. Okay, next one. Number 40. This is 55. What does it end in? This is the thousandths. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths column. So that's 55 thousandths as a fraction. Now we can divide by 5 and divide by 5. And that gives us 11 200ths. And that's as far as that guy can go. All right, the next one. 0.375. Again, we are ending in the thousandths column. So that's 375 thousandths. All right, so they both end in a 5, so we can divide by 5 and divide by 5. Ooh, this one's going to be kind of hard. 375 divided by 5, that's, let me see, 7 times 5 is 35, 2, 5, 7 into 25. 5. So this is 75 200ths. Hey, look, we can divide by 5 again. Divide by 5 again. And that gives us 15 40ths. Hey, we can divide by 5 again. So let's divide by 5 and divide by 5, and we get 3/8. 3/8 is simplified, turns into 0.375. Okay, that was a little bit tougher than the other one. That had a lot of simplifying to do. All right, now we're just going to do this long division. And remember, with these, we could get a remainder, or we could keep going with the decimals. Either way, it's fun. 7 goes into 48, not quite 7 times, so 6 times. 6 times 7 is 42. Subtract, and we get a 6. 5. 7 goes into 65 9 times. 9 times 7 is 63. Subtract, and we get a 2. So that would be, we could write it as 69 2/7. Or we can put these zeros on here. I don't know how many we'll need to get a pattern, but we could keep going. 7 goes into 20. Let me see. 7 goes into 20. Put the decimal right there twice. That's a 14. Subtract, and we get a 6. 7 goes into 60 8 times. That's a 56. Subtract, and we get a 4. 0. Let's start it up here. 47 goes into 40 5 times. That's 35. Drop that down. That's a 5 0. 7 goes into 57 times. That's a 49. Subtract, and we get a 1. Drop down a 0. 7 goes into 10. 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract, we get a 3. Drop down a 0. 7 goes into 30 4 times, which is 28. Subtract, we get a 2, 20, and we're repeating from right here. So 285714 goes on and on forever. Whew. Yeah, that might have been a nicer way. The fraction version of it, it's a little bit simpler, a little bit nicer to see. Okay. 43. 3 goes into 781. 3 goes into 7. 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Drop down the 8. 3 goes into 18. 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract, and we get a 0. Drop down the 1. 3 goes into 1. 0 times. So 0 times, okay, we didn't need to do that, but okay. So we get 260 1/3. And again, we can keep going with decimals and get a decimal answer for this. Drop down a 0. 3 goes into 10. 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, and we get a 1 0. We're going to repeat that. So 260.3 repeater. That would be the other way to write that answer. Okay, number 44. 43 goes into 673. This is going to be kind of tough. Well, 4 goes into, like, estimation. 4 goes into, like, 70. 4 goes into 7. I don't know, 1 time. So we get here. That's a 43. Subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. and then drop the 3. So here we have roughly 40 going into 240. So if a 6, maybe that's too big. Let's try a 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Carry the 1. And 5 times 4 is 20. Plus that 1 is 21. Let's see if we were close enough here. 13 minus 5 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. Oh, good. 28. We were close enough. And so 15 and 28 43rds. We could live it like that, or you guessed it, we could keep going with the zeros here. With a point, let me see, 280. 4 goes into that 7, but with that, we'd probably do a 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. 6 times 4 is 24. Plus that 1 is a 25. Subtract, and we get, let's see, 7, 10, so that's 2. That's a 2. 22. Good. Now drop a 0. 43 goes into 220. We already did that one once, and it was a 5, got us 215. So let's put that guy back up there. 215. Subtract it, and we get a 5. Okay, so far so good. Drop down a 0. Good. 43 goes into 50 once. That's 43. Subtract, and we get 7. Drop down a 0. 43 goes into 70. Well, it wouldn't quite go twice. That would be 84. So it's another 1. I'm going to stop right there and round that. So I'm going to say 15.651. This could go on for a while. But notice I had to go one place further to round correctly when I put that answer up. So this one is exactly right on. That's a decimal approximation. Probably goes out a while before it repeats. It's a pretty tough one. All right, next one. I don't know my 0.5 times table. So we're going to move this one decimal one place that way and one place that way. So we really have 5 goes into 473.1. That will give us the correct answer. 5 goes into 4? No. 5 goes into 47. 9 times 5 is 45. Subtract and we get a 2. Drop down the 3. 5 goes into 23 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Drop it down. That's 3. Drop down the 1. So now we're into the decimals. 5 goes into 31 6 times. That's 30. And we get 1. We've already started decimals, so the remainder of 1/5 doesn't make any sense. We're already behind a decimal. So let's keep going. Put a 0 there. 0. 5 goes into 10 twice. Oh, it comes out even nicely. 94.62. Excellent. All right, the next problem. Oh boy, this is a pretty hairy looking one. We've got to move the decimals to get, so this number's nice to go into 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So it's 4 goes into 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5, 6, 2, 4, 0, 0, 0. Hopefully we get into that nicely and the zeros will just happen on the end there. So 4 goes into 5 once. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, we get a 1. 6. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes times 4 is 16. Subtract and we get 0. Drop down the 2. 4 goes into 2 0 times. I'm going to actually do that. 2 minus 0 is 2. Drop down the 4. Now we have 4 times into 24 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract and we get 0. Drop down the 0. Now we actually have to keep going here because 0 times 4 would be 0. And then 0 and then 0. Yeah, we get 1,406,000 until we reach that last 0. Excellent.